Ever feel like you're running just to stand still? That's the heart of The Running Man, a story that's only grown more relevant over the decades. It began as a novel by Stephen King, under the name Richard Bachman, became a cult 80s movie, and now it's back with a new film. The premise is chilling. In a dystopian future, desperate people compete on a deadly game show, hunted for sport and ratings. Each version, book, movie, and now Edgar Wright's 2025 film, reflects the fears of its era, from media manipulation to survival in a rigged system. The story's power lies in its ability to make us question the world we live in, long after the credits roll. The original novel was raw and bleak, the '87 film was explosive and satirical, and the new adaptation brings it all into the digital age. Why does this story keep coming back? Because it's a mirror, showing us our anxieties about power, media, and what we'll do to survive. Let's dive into how The Running Man has evolved, and why it matters now more than ever. We'll explore the book's darkness, the movie's spectacle, and the urgent relevance of the latest film. This is a story that refuses to stop running. Let's rewind to 1982, when Stephen King, as Richard Bachman, unleashed The Running Man. The novel's world is grim pollution, poverty, and a government that keeps the masses in check with deadly game shows. Ben Richards isn't a hero, he's a desperate father, risking everything to save his sick daughter. The book's real terror isn't the violence, but the crushing weight of poverty and hopelessness. Game shows like Treadmill to Bucks and The Running Man exploit the poor, turning suffering into prime-time entertainment. Richards is hunted not in a studio, but across the real world, with everyone incentivized to turn him in. The psychological toll is relentless. He's terrified, exhausted, and always on the edge. King's vision is a warning. When society abandons its most vulnerable, desperation breeds extreme choices. The story's realism and bleakness make it unforgettable, a blueprint for dystopian fiction. Richards isn't out to be a hero. He's just trying to survive, and that's what makes his journey so powerful. The novel forces us to confront what happens when human life is valued less than a TV rating. It's a harrowing look at a world where entertainment and cruelty are inseparable. This is the dark heart that started it all. 5 years later, Hollywood transformed The Running Man into a wild, action-packed spectacle starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. The film swapped the novel's desperation for over-the-top action and satire, turning the deadly game into a gladiator-style TV show. Schwarzenegger's Ben Richards is a framed ex-cop, already a tough hero, fighting back with swagger and one-liners. The villains are unforgettable, flamboyant stalkers, like Sub-Zero and Buzzsaw, each with their own deadly gimmick. The show's host, Damon Killian, is the ultimate manipulator, obsessed with ratings and control. Beneath the explosions and camp, the film satirizes media manipulation, editing footage to turn Richards into a villain and the killers into heroes. It's a sharp parody of 80s pop culture and the growing power of television. The movie may be bombastic, but it still asks, who controls the truth and what are we really cheering for? The '87 film became a classic by blending action with biting social commentary. Now, Edgar Wright's 2025 adaptation brings The Running Man into the digital age, starring Glenn Powell as a desperate, relatable Ben Richards. This version fuses the novel's bleakness with blockbuster thrills, grounding the story in today's reality. Richards is a working-class father, forced into the game to save his daughter. His motivation is heartbreakingly real. The prize, $1 billion, reflecting our obsession with wealth and spectacle. The hunt is everywhere. Broadcast, live-streamed, and tracked by millions on their phones. Wright's film tackles surveillance, misinformation, and the terrifying reach of tech giants. The public isn't just watching, they're participating, making the chase interactive and inescapable. The cast shines, with Josh Brolin as the chilling network head, and the action is as sharp as the satire. By blending the book's emotional weight with modern anxieties, this adaptation feels urgent and necessary. The Running Man has never felt more real, or more terrifying. Comparing all three versions of The Running Man is like seeing the same nightmare through different lenses. The novel is raw and psychological, a desperate man's fight in a broken world. The '87 film is its loud, colorful alter ego, swapping subtlety for spectacle and satire. Arnold Richards is a force of nature, while King's is a man on the edge. The new film bridges these extremes, restoring the novel's emotional core while delivering blockbuster thrills. Glenn Powell's Richards is vulnerable and real, making his struggle hit harder. The story returns to a nationwide manhunt, echoing the book's vast, hostile world. Wright's adaptation updates the dangers. Media manipulation is more sophisticated, technology more invasive, and the stakes higher than ever. Each version reflects its era's fears: poverty, media control, digital surveillance. By blending the best of both worlds, the 2025 film proves you can have depth and excitement in one unforgettable package. The Running Man's evolution shows how a great story can adapt and stay relevant. It's not just about survival, it's about what we're willing to accept in the name of entertainment. And that question never gets old. Every version of The Running Man is a time capsule, capturing the anxieties of its era. The 1982 novel reflected fears of economic collapse and a society that abandoned its poor. The 87 film satirized the rise of celebrity culture and the power of television to shape reality. Damon Killian, the game show host, was more influential than politicians. Truth was, whatever the network said. Fast forward to today, Edgar Wright's film speaks to our hyper-connected, surveillance-driven world. Now, the threat isn't just TV, it's the digital ecosystem, where everyone with a phone can join the hunt. The story explores tech billionaires, misinformation, and the loss of privacy. Ben Richards remains the everyman, fighting a system that sees him as expendable. The villains change: economic policy, TV networks, tech giants, but the struggle stays the same. The Running Man endures because its core conflict, one person versus an overwhelming system, still feels urgent. It's a mirror, showing us how much and how little has changed. The Running Man is a masterclass in showing how media can be weaponized. Across all versions, entertainment is used to distract, control, and pacify the public. The government and networks feed the masses violent spectacle, keeping them from questioning their own lives. In the 87 film, the network fakes footage, turning Richards into a villain and manipulating public opinion. The 2025 film takes it further. Media isn't just watched, it's interactive. Viewers vote, track, and even join the hunt. The public becomes complicit, blurring the line between audience and participant. It's a chilling commentary on our culture of engagement, where clicks and shares have real consequences. The story asks, are we being entertained or controlled? Are we seeing the truth or just what someone wants us to see? Ben Richards threatens the system not just by surviving, but by exposing the lies. The Running Man reminds us to question the narratives we're fed, and to never stop thinking critically. Why does The Running Man still resonate after 40 years? Because its core issues, inequality, media manipulation, and survival, are more urgent than ever. The idea of risking everything for a shot at survival feels less like fiction and more like a reflection of today's world. The story's warnings about fake news and digital deception have become our reality. The 2025 film taps into our anxiety about what's real and what's manufactured. Ben Richards is the ultimate everyman, fighting for his family, pushed to the edge by forces beyond his control. His struggle is universal: the powerless against the powerful, the individual against the system. When he fights back, it's cathartic, a reminder that one person can make a difference. The Running Man endures as a cautionary tale, urging us to question, resist, and value human life over spectacle. It's not just about a dystopian future, it's about the choices we make now. The race is ongoing, and the stakes are real. The Running Man's journey, from King's novel to blockbuster films, shows how a story can evolve and stay vital. Each version adds to a decades-long conversation about fairness, truth, and the value of life. Ben Richards is more than a contestant. He's a symbol of resilience and hope. The story warns us about the dangers of media control, but also celebrates the power of resistance. Even when the odds are impossible, Richards never stops fighting. For himself, for truth, for all of us. Whether you read the book, love the 80s classic, or see the new film, you're part of a story that matters. The Running Man is thrilling, thought-provoking, and necessary. The race isn't over, and it's always worth running.